Okay, so like today is one of my more productive days. I'm in a good mood this season. Where I live, how shall I say, the weather's not so great. My state shuts down when it gets anywhere close to freezing. Yada yada yada. I'm in a productive mood. Have some hope. I'm doing good. I'm on the right track. I'm on a positive trajectory. Now, on to the topic at hand. Um, I'm about to get to reading my essay about gay men as allies. As men, we should stick together. This one will be about marriage and gay marriage. It'll be kind of connected. I'm going to wing it. It's going to be improv. I'm going to be doing something else while I'm doing this. My brain's working weird today. So here we go. Alright, give me a second. Alright, so marriage. Me and an old friend of mine, years ago, I mean like a long time ago, like when this gay marriage issue first started becoming an issue, like, God, a long time ago, like almost a decade ago now. We reasoned quite quickly. The only reason why the government's involved in your shitty marriage to begin with is because the government needs taxpayers and soldiers. Right, okay, there's plenty historical, anthropological, religious, civil, common law data to back this up. I won't go into the vastness of it. The Republicans, the Christians, the conservatives do kind of have a point that they're not stating it correctly. The only reason why the government's involved in your marriage to begin with is because the government needs future taxpayers and future soldiers. And the marriage is a social institution. For a marriage to be successful, there has to be social pressures to keep it together. Right? Once you claim association, once you claim a spousal relationship with another individual, that ring is supposed to not only remind you of your commitment to another human being, but it's supposed to signify to others that you're taken, that you're out of the game, right? And we are not supposed to have sex with anyone with a ring on their finger. We're not supposed to. It is incumbent on the society around the married couple to enforce monogamy. We can talk about paternity uncertainty, paternity certainty, what the feminists talk about women being viewed as property, or what the Manosphere terms instead of property awards. All this is irrelevant, especially nowadays in this new century, this new millennium, with gay marriage. Okay, here's the philosophical problem with it. It's not really a problem. Here's the issue. Okay, so in America is an individualistic society. It's an individual culture. We value the rights of and the freedoms of the individual, the rights, responsibilities of the individual. So any right that any one individual has, another has. I can go into this. This is where American government kind of like screwed up the whole marriage institution, right? The only reason why the church was involved in your marriage to begin with was because the church needed to grow. The reason why Muslims and Mormons still have polygamy, the reason why Mormons used to have polygamy, is because if you want your religion to grow, the best way to grow it is not to get converts, it's to make new believers, to have new children. And since a woman can only have a few kids in a long period of time, and a woman can only carry 1, 2, maybe 3, half a dozen kids at once, right? A man can have like a whole bunch of kids with a whole bunch of women at once, right? So polygamy is more beneficial for religion than polyandry. Right? A bunch of men having sex with one woman, not very productive or reproductive in a numbers sense for religion, but one man having sex with many women, very productive or very reproductive. It's a good, quick way, good, surefire way of creating new believers relatively quickly, right? Instead of getting converts, which is a whole big hoop of I think it was Watson, the psychologist, or who Watson, or I think St. Augustine or Augustine said, give me the child for the first 7 years of its life, and I'll give you the man for the rest of his life, right? If you indoctrinate children from a very young age to believe in Islam, to believe in Mormonism, to believe in anything, it's going to be ingrained, right? It doesn't mean it can't be undone. Look at Santa Claus. But there you go. That's marriage, polygamy, polyandry in a nutshell. Reason why the church was involved to begin with is because the church needed followers. The church became the government. Reason why the government's involved in your marriage is because the government needs taxpayers and soldiers, right? Taxpayers to fund it, and soldiers to defend it. To fund its interest, and soldiers to defend its interests. All right. And back to the problem with gay marriage and America. So if a straight man has the right to marry any other single woman of his choosing, then a gay man has the right to marry any other single man of his choosing. The conservatives will jump in here and say, wait, the whole reason it's children. Gay people can't have children. True. Caveat and problem here, what about a woman who's infertile? Or a man who's sterile? They still have the right to get married. Correct? Yes. Right. So there's no like fertility reproductive criteria or requirement to get married for straight people. So if there's no criteria for that, there's no prerequisite for that, then there shouldn't be for gay people. Alright, boom. Have to allow gay marriage. There's also some legal issue. Me and an old associate looked into this. When Utah wanted to become a state, there were laws already on the books, Protestant-based laws, Christian-based laws, saying like it's one man, one woman, not one man, a bunch of women. You Mormons, if you want Utah to be a state, if you want your holy city and your holy state to be part of the Union, the United States, you gotta get rid of this polygamy stuff. You gotta get rid of it. It's in clear contradiction with common law. It's clear contradiction with already codified law. Alright, okay, so magically, miraculously, whatever prophet they had at the time was like, hey, guess what? God changed his mind. Polygamy bad, monogamy good. Alright, Utah becomes a state. And then later on, to address bigamy, I think it was interracial marriage, when African Americans or black people or people of color were trying to, after the end of slavery, after emancipation, but before like the modern era, maybe the 50s, 60s, they had to change the laws. I forget what the exact wording was, but the law that gay marriage is based on is based on the same section of law that interracial marriage is based on. And here's where it got kind of weird. It sort of leaped out at me and my old associate. The law says something like any single individual has the right to marry any other single individual, regardless of race, color, or creed, or nationality, something like that. Now the odd thing is, like, they used a bunch of words for race, color, like, they were trying to cover the whole thing, right? No matter where you're from, what you look like. I believe what they meant to say is one man gets to marry another single woman, right? They didn't want to violate the code they already legislated or decided on relative to polygamy, right? But they could just as easily have said one man, one woman. I won't get into this, they were either being philosophical assholes, presuming that marriage would only take place between a man and a woman. The problem with the legal code is they said individual. Um, they didn't say man singular, woman singular. They said individual. For whatever reason, it's where they screwed up. So unless Republicans want to undo all the interracial laws about interracial marriage, bam, they're kind of screwed. So now we're back to what gay marriage means and how it affects society. And I'm sorry this is taking me so long. I'm trying real hard to be brief here, but this is a big idea. I've been thinking about it for a long time now, for decades now. Well, for a decade, a little more. All right, okay. So gay people, by the nature of being homosexual, there generally isn't a chance for them for the couple to have children. In fact, I would argue it's almost scientifically impossible. It may be possible for two females, for a lesbian couple to procreate with each other. I'm pretty dang sure two gay men can't do it. I'm sure that's scientifically impossible. It might be possible in a few years for lesbians to procreate together in a sort of pair bonded situation. Gay men, I'm pretty sure, is right out. Well, there's some. I can imagine it. It would involve a third party, naturally a female egg, evacuated of its haploidness, just use the shell. It would still be like a unique. Okay, the point is, in a gay marriage, it's unlikely they're going to have a kid together. So why is the government involved in your marriage? I mean, just tell gay people to go out in the woods, go to church, or go wherever, and like make vows to each other and claim to never have sex with anyone else for the rest of their lives until death do you part. Like, why are you dragging the rest of us, the rest of the U.S., into your marriage via our government? Like, why? Like, it makes sense before, right? We needed taxpayers for roads and crap. We needed soldiers for wars and crap, right? But you're gay. Like, we are not going to benefit at all. Like, why should we socially enforce your monogamy when we're not going to get anything out of it? All right, okay. So here's the issue, and I'm sorry it took me like 13 minutes to get to it. So what we're presuming is, or what I'm presuming is, that gay people want the rest of us, the rest of the U.S., to recognize their love. They love, like, it's the government's responsibility to recognize and protect your feelings. Okay, whatever feminism, we won't get into maybe the damage it's caused. Feminism leads to feminization. It's funny. Alright, okay. So, they want us to recognize their love. Now, the argument they normally cite is that a straight married couple, a heterosexual married couple, usually when they get married, like, there's like 100+ rights that are just endowed upon that couple. Yeah, true, like, for two gay people to have those same rights endowed upon each other would require them to get a lawyer and pay like several thousands of dollars in separate things, like have to sign over power of attorney. Like, it's a big hoopajoop currently for a gay couple to get the same rights and protections over each other's lives that a straight couple gets just by signing a document, paying a fee, and having two of their friends sign it too. Right, okay, it's not the strongest argument, it's not the best argument, but it's an argument, and it's factually supportable. Yes, under the American individualistic system where we're all endowed by the state, our creator, nature, whatever you want to say, with certain unalienable rights, right? We're all equal, right, in theory. Yeah, okay. You should be allowed, a gay guy should be allowed to marry another gay guy of his choosing. The end of this is, I would imagine, they want to make life or death decisions for each other when one is in the hospital in a coma, right? As easily as possible, as easily as a man or woman can make the same life or death decisions over each other simply by getting a marriage certificate, marriage license. Now, MGTOWs and MRAs may want to say, hey, wow, that's, in hindsight, it's a pretty stupid idea to give a solipsistic woman decisions about your life or death, right? Especially nowadays. It's presumed she wants to keep you around for your provider role, right? Your ATM role. There are cases that I've recently cited where some women view their husbands or ex-husbands as more valuable to them dead than alive. Okay. You know, marriage, from that perspective, may be a good idea to say, hey, the state says, hey, screw it. Marriage is abolished. If you want to get married, just go to a church or just make vows to each other, leave us out of it. We're all about the welfare state, child support, baby daddies, baby mama bullshit anyway. Fuck marriage. Like, there's a good strong libertarian argument for that, to say screw it, like for government just to check out of marriage completely. I've heard a few hardcore libertarians make that argument, right? The government shouldn't be involved in your marriage to begin with. And there's a socialist argument to be made there too. I mean, heck, we already got child support, welfare, you know, social services, child protective services. Like, the state already has a very solid philosophical and legal claim on your kid to begin with, regardless of your marriage. So the government, might be a good idea for the government to check out a marriage entirely already. But okay, but everyone wants to protect the sanctity of marriage. Okay, so then we're back to, why do gay people want to involve us, the U.S., in their marriage? Well, they want us to support it, right? They want doctors and nurses, right? They want the rest of us to support it. Like, hey, so you claim to love this person. You claim to love this other man so much that you claim the right to supersede a doctor's Hippocratic oath, supersede a doctor's medical expertise and medical ethics, professional ethics, to the end of making life or death decisions for this person. Your proclamation of love should be socially supported to the end of hopefully making what's in the best interest of this other man, this other human being's spirit, life, death decisions, intent, soul. You claim to know better than this doctor what this person would want, because you love this person, you've lived with this person, you claim to love for this person. Your love for this person is so great, it's overriding a doctor's expertise and ethics. So I think that's the nuts and bolts of it. Now, the problem I can see with this, and this is going to go to my essay. Okay, gay people. Okay, homosexuals. Fine. I don't care you're gay. I really, you know, gay people want to get married and be miserable like the rest of us. I say let them. Okay. But the philosophical, fundamental legal principle that you're arguing is that the government should support your love. Okay. Well, now the government's about supporting your love. If society, doctors, nurses, lawyers, the rest of us are supposed to support your love, support your monogamy, right? Well, then that means we have to support everyone else's love too. That means that marriage is no longer about children. Marriage is no longer about future taxpayers, future soldiers, the future of the nation. Marriage is about recognizing and supporting two people's open proclamation of love. And if we do that for gay people, we have to do that for straight people. I'm sure you can all see where this is going to be a problem, where it's already been a problem. I personally have nothing against telling you not to cheat on your wife, on your spouse. But yeah, I do have something against being asked to get up in your business. Whereas before, there's a perfectly good reason for me to get up in your business. Hey, that kid kind of technically involves me. Like, that's kind of my future. I don't want you screwing up a future taxpayer. I don't want you screwing up a future soldier. Like, I might need that guy or girl, to pay Social Security when I'm like, like old and crippled. Like, I might need that guy or girl to like pick up a gun and defend, my nation when I'm like, old and incapable of doing it myself. Like, when there was children involved, it made sense to me for the rest of us to be involved in your marriage. But we really weren't involved in your marriage. We were involved in your kid's life, right? Like the third party, right? I want your kid to be educated in the public school. I want your kid to sort of be socialized to not be a, criminal. Like I want your kid to be, capable of picking up a gun, or at least, paying taxes, right? That serves my interest. I don't really see what interest, what personal selfish interest getting involved in two gay people's marriage would serve me, except, and here's where I try to want to bring this into MGTOW, except that if gay men want all the benefits of marriage, they will have to start be willing to bear some of the costs, some of the burden. And that will mean, gay men, that all those women you hang out with, all those ladies who love going shopping with you, you will have to stop encouraging and endorsing their Sex and the City, slutty, self-entitled bullshit. You will have to stop encouraging them to just sort of sleep around. You will have to stop. Gay men, if you know of a woman who has a boyfriend and she's sleeping around, you will have to call her a slut now. If you know of a woman who's married and she's sleeping around, you will definitely have to discipline her. Gay men, and I'm a MGTOW, a man's advocate, and I believe men should discipline our own kind. I believe women should discipline their own kind. So in general, I don't know how this works out. I would prefer lesbians to discipline straight women and gay men to discipline straight men. They may have to jump ship, switch sides. The gay men may have to, encourage straight women to not be such whores, if they are. And lesbians, I don't know. I mean, I don't know how you guys hang out with lesbians, but maybe we'd have to switch the whole, discipline your own kind thing. But there you go. Sorry this took so long. This is my productive day. I hope you discuss, have fun below. Yeah, what do you guys think about this? Do you think I made a good point? Do you think I made a bad point? Opinions. Alright guys, I'm gonna get back to some of my other stuff. Alright, yours truly, M.